History is filled with moments that, due to shame, espionage, or diplomatic sensitivities, were deliberately kept from public knowledge. Yet, over time, many of these hidden truths emerge, shedding light on the real events. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what we reveal next. Here are 5 such moments. Number 5. In 1965, a group of mountaineers attempted to conquer Nanda Devi, the tallest mountain entirely within India's borders. Unfortunately, due to bad weather and low oxygen, they were forced to turn back. Before descending, they stashed a device they intended to retrieve the following year. This wasn't any ordinary piece of equipment. It was a nuclear-powered sensor, part of a joint operation by the CIA and Indian intelligence. The mission was born out of growing fears over China's nuclear capabilities. China was actively developing nuclear weapons, but its testing sites were too far for conventional surveillance. The CIA believed they could gather intelligence from the Himalayas, and India agreed to the plan. The sensor relied on plutonium for power, a method still used by NASA for some Mars rovers. When the mountaineers returned to Nanda Devi the following year, they couldn't locate the sensor. Numerous attempts were made to find it, including using helicopters fitted with neutron detectors. The prevailing theory is that an avalanche swept the device away, though some believe India may have secretly retrieved it. Regardless, the plutonium is still missing, and fears persist about its environmental impact, particularly on the Ganges River. Locals have even blamed it for devastating floods in the area, although this is unconfirmed. The incident remained secret until 1978, when it was exposed by a journalist. This operation is just one of many hidden stories from the Cold War that may never come to light. Number 4. The Vietnam War was dubbed the Television War due to its coverage, but many events like the Battle of Hill 875 in 1967 never reached the public eye. Known as the Battle of Dak Tu, this confrontation involved heavy fighting, napalm attacks, and a devastating friendly fire incident. On November 19, 1967, American troops pinned by enemy fire made a command post beneath a lone tree. Planes overhead were meant to target the enemy, but mistakenly hit the post instead. The impact was catastrophic, killing 20 soldiers, 3 of whom were never recovered. For years, it was believed that a South Vietnamese soldier had caused the accident. However, it was eventually revealed that a U.S. soldier was responsible. Despite a good record, his misfire had deadly consequences. Decades later, the official report remained missing, but the truth finally emerged. Number 3. The events of June 8, 1967 during the Six-Day War remain shrouded in mystery. On that day, the USS Liberty, an American intelligence ship, was attacked by Israeli forces, leaving 34 dead and 171 injured. The ship, stationed off the Gaza coast, had been identified as friendly earlier in the day, but confusion later resulted in a brutal assault involving torpedoes and napalm. The Israeli government claimed it mistook the Liberty for an Egyptian ship, and the U.S. quickly accepted this explanation after a brief investigation. Israel paid $12.8 million in compensation, but many doubt this account. Some believe the pilots knew they were attacking an American vessel but were ordered to continue. The Snowden leaks have since revealed that parts of this incident remain classified, suggesting the full story is still hidden. Number 2. Spies have played pivotal roles in shaping history, and during the American Revolution, the Culper spy ring was instrumental in the war effort. Formed in 1778 under General George Washington, the network operated out of British-occupied New York, sending intelligence to the Continental Army. Led by Caleb Brewster and Benjamin Tallmadge, the ring evolved from amateur efforts into one of the most effective intelligence operations of the war. Code names were used to protect identities, with Tallmadge known as John Bolton, and Chief Spy Abraham Woodhull as Samuel Culper Sr. Robert Townsend. Operating under the alias Samuel Culper Jr., remained a mystery until the 1900s. The ring uncovered crucial information, such as a planned British ambush on French forces in 1780. The foiled ambush likely saved the Franco-American alliance and the war itself. The legend of Agent 355, a female spy, also stems from this ring. Though there were women involved, 355's identity remains debated, with only a single reference to her in discovered letters. Whether she was a real figure or a legend, The ring's impact on history is undeniable. Number 1. Before the infamous Chernobyl disaster, there was the lesser-known Kyshtym disaster of 1957 in the Soviet Union. Taking place at the Mayak facility in the Ural Mountains, this event is now considered the third largest nuclear disaster in history. Mayak was a secretive facility central to the Soviet nuclear program, producing plutonium for weapons. Safety standards were abysmal, leading to widespread radiation exposure among workers and nearby villagers. Waste was routinely dumped into local rivers, causing illness in downstream communities. On September 19, 1957, a cooling system failure led to a chemical explosion, sending nuclear waste across the region. The Soviet government initially downplayed the event, even convincing locals that strange lights in the sky were a natural phenomenon. Evacuations took place slowly, and thousands were eventually relocated. The disaster remained a secret for years, even though by 1960, the CIA had gathered enough information to understand what had happened. However, they kept it classified, not wanting to stoke fears about nuclear power. Only with the end of the Cold War was the full scope of Kyshtym acknowledged. Thanks for watching. If you thought these hidden moments in history were shocking, wait until you hear what's next. In our upcoming video, we're diving into 5 really weird history stories that sound fake but are real. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss out. See you in the next one.